Mm. All right, testing. Also on Twitter. You see. That's much stuff. Okay, that's fine. Let me see. Um, I use this song. So I'm gonna start. So I'm porting this game from Unity to Godot. Luckily, Godot has C# support. So the main thing is, I guess the node system is the weirdest thing about Godot. In Unity, you would have components, and those components would have like a lot of it would have their own attachments to them. A game object has a bunch of is structured differently. The way I find it useful is just that everything is a node. The components are a node. Like the animator animated sprite and or a sprite 2D, they're separate nodes instead of like normally they would be part of the same component. And even like a prefab, at least the way I see it, is also like a node you bring in to a scene. In code, it works basically the same. A lot of the code like I use at least in this game. Let me pull it up actually. Let me rename these. And that. Right. So the code is basically analogous. So here, so this is the code I made create actually. This is the method that actually creates the character, and it scales for like I believe 16, but I think you can have as many as possible. Or as many as you can attach to your computer. I don't know if you're gonna get 16 controllers attached to your computer, but that's what it's using. Let me see. Oh, right there. Yeah. So this, God. So this would normally be, yeah, this is the instantiate function. And then once it's instantiated here, then you go around and change, and then you have to add it to the scene. You have to add it to the scene, right? Yeah. So yeah, you add it to this. This is the code right here is for main, basically. The main is what I'm calling this is the game manager, I guess. But it's the highest up in the hierarchy for the main scene, and you would instantiate the guy from where you have to actually give a file directory, like a file path. You load it in, you instantiate it, add it to the scene, and then you start changing everything. Normally, in Unity, you you would do everything like you do guy equals instantiate, and you would uh, set its global position and set a parent if you want to, and all the other stuff instantiate has. But here it's done separately. At least the way I did it was separately. Remember, I'm not like creating the game from scratch. I'm kind of just like uh, trying to get it ported as quickly as possible. So this is the most analogous stuff. Lists, I believe those are just C# things. Get something later. Lists and lists, generic like system collections, generic lists or whatever. I think they're just C# stuff. But I see some dictionaries that we use that I'm actually going to be using. Actually, right here. So I did a very backwards. This is how the attacks work. So I did a very backwards way of getting attacks in. I would save all the attacks values like angle, knockback scaling in an enum for whatever reason. And then I had to put that enum in a list that I would then um, like what do I say? The enum has to be put in a list, and I can use that list to actually do stuff. I don't know. I didn't know how to actually just pass an enum through, and then you could use it for everything you need. So in this case, like let's say we have jab. This is actually set in a dictionary, which is pretty useful in Godot. I don't know if it's exclusive to Godot, but it is Godot Collections Dictionary, so maybe this. I'm not sure. But so yeah, that's just the jab. So basically, a dictionary has a key, which is this string, and then a value. And I think this value can be anything. It can be like another string or like a raycast, I guess. It could be anything. But I just have a integer. So everything is saved as integers, angle, stun, duration, knockback scaling, percentage, SDI multiplier, ID, shield stun, shield knockback, damage, shield direction. It's all just in in this dictionary, and you can just if you go to jab, the actual loop. So a normal jab. You can see the first one is the ID, and this is just how the ID system works. You just this is how you can get something out of it. So I think I have to in C# you have to call everything by a certain like what type of value it is. So this is an integer. Look up jab dictionary, look up the ID of jab, which is ID 1. And then that's it. It will get the integer at that value, which is 1, and then I subtract 1 to put it in the top of this list. It's more complicated, but that's all I do that. But the main thing is when I go to send info, I just send the dictionary. Send info, I believe, is down here. Yeah, so there it is. So send info, yeah, you get a dictionary of numbers, and that goes to the calculation. The calculation is the knockback calculation, so that goes here, and it's like it's long, but here you can see call as an int, list the numbers of the list, basically the dictionary. Lookup duration, which is the hit stop, plus the integer of list number at the key percent damage plus 5, and this is if you get power shielded on. Basically, you can just call it. It's a lot easier because normally I had to like just do. I think this was like list 2, and I had to keep track of everything, and this is a lot more intuitive. Yeah, I was having a problem with air dodge, so I was doing this print. Um, what did I do? Oh, oh. I was. Right, I had to do air up and air down. I have my I have my Unity code up here. It's not as like optimized or as organized. Because around the time I was using Unity, let's see if it sounds good. So around the time I was making this, I knew that I wanted to switch to Godot, so I was just kind of making things as fast as possible. Which one's this? That's the perfect place. So now we got air normal up, air normal down. So I guess I can show you how I do all my all the attacks in the game. So there's a shared of a variable called frames, and that's just what frame the attack is on currently. Let's see. Yes, I'm talking about what frame the attack is on, right here. And that as long as this loop is happening, frames increase, but only if basically the animation increases, because the frames and this frame value, this increments separate from the animation that's actually playing, which is a problem because I have to make sure they line up completely. So actually, I actually say this has to equal 1, not greater than 0, but this animation speed scale can't be stopped, basically. It can't be like not moving, because then it would be out of sync with the frames, which would just keep moving. And is stopped is hit stun, which is when the animation is paused. So um it's like a double thing. And so this is just to make sure everything stays in sync. Can do and can jump are actually kind of flawed. I think I should switch these. Is basically you can't attack and you can't jump while this loop is happening. These are those local variables that I have to call. You can't use collider 2D because they're all nodes. Colliders are nodes. That's normally what are they called? Components, but now they're nodes. So keep hit is a very important local variable. It should probably be a universal variable. So frames before 5. This thing has a 4-frame startup. But I guess I should say 6-frame because it should be equal to. Uh, that might mess things up. So frame 6 to frame 15, this is active. So starting false, active, true. And so in this might actually present a problem because it's a multi-hitting attack. So basically it says here if frames if we're on frame 6 to 15, the frames that are divisible by 2 actually have the collider, actually have the hitbox open. And that's what this is, frames modulo 2. So modulo is just the remainder of dividing it by this number here. So if the frame is 1 divided by 2, what's the remainder? And if that remainder is not 0, because one is not divisible by 2. So then on frame 1, nothing happens. On frame 2, divided by 2, there is no remainder. So on frame 2, all this stuff happens. And on every even frame between these two frames, that's what this is for. So this actually might present a problem because this is new. This is not easy to port as the others, or I at least haven't figured this one out. Makebox is like, I think actually it's just a simple overlap box thing. I'm gonna have to switch the logic for all of this, by the way, because these aren't hitboxes. They're very, very simple. When I boot up the game, and that's annoying too, but what is Collider 2? Uh, oh, okay. I guess, yeah, this is probably nothing. Sure, I'm sure this will be normal. Let me see. System array empty. Okay. And this will cause me problems. So, so yeah, that's when the colliders show up. Oh, and another thing. So, if you saw before, the overlap box had like 7 times facing 10. That was the vector. Now, though, it's overlap sphere, sorry. But now it's 70, 100 because Unity uses its own units. But Godot uses pixels per uh, like pixels. The units are the pixels, which is annoying. Also, something that really bothers me is the fact that Unity is no, sorry, Godot is y is down, so positive y is down. The whole thing it's flipped. Y is flipped. So in Unity this is supposed to be up, right? It's supposed to be like 10 units up, but right now as it's written in Godot, this is 100 pixels down. So I have to make that negative, which is very annoying because I actually have to go back up and make sure I forgot to do this and make sure like all the ups and downs are reversed, which is annoying. But left and right are the same, so that's good. Yeah. So I said if frames are odd, basically, if frames are odd, then this doesn't happen. But or like frames are even, then this happens. But else, the colliders are null because I have to do that for local variables. But the hit E list that comes later on, but this is the list of people that have actually hit with this attack. And that's just making sure that you don't hit you hit somebody on the first frame, and then on this the attack still goes on. So then on the second frame, the attack goes on, the hitbox is right over them, but it doesn't hit them again because it's gonna go through this list of people that already have been hit. And normally that refreshes every time an attack starts. But for a multi-hitting attack, I have to make sure that it's refreshed every other frame. So or it's emptied every other frame. So every hitbox can hit them again. So on frames that are even, the effect is the frames that are even, the hitbox is out and the attacker can be hit, or you can get hit by this attack. And on frames that are even, it like there's no hitbox, but it clears the list of people who were attacked. That comes along later in this giant for loop. So I have a yeah, I haven't gotten this yet. I haven't made a dictionary for this yet, but so before the attacks actually happen, you set keep hit to false every frame. Normally you just do it up here, but I have to do this every frame because you can get hit. It's a multi-hit attack instead of just hit it once and go. So for each node 2D in colliding, list of nodes in colliding with. So colliding with is a list of nodes, right? So that you detect through here. And so I just have to give a good way to explain this. So Smash has an ID system where if you each hitbox has its own ID for priority. So if two hitboxes overlap and you are hit by you are hit in the overlap, right? The overlap of two hitboxes. How do you determine what hitbox gets like what hitbox actually hits you? Because they might have different properties. So Smash has an ID system. So this hitbox, say right here, is is 0, which is the highest priority, and then this hitbox is 1. So if you get hit by both of them, the hitbox 0, that's the one that takes priority. And the way I did that was uh, the collider detects a list of nodes. It detects a bunch of like people, and it puts that in that list of people it detected is put in another list called colliding with. So that's in this case it's 0. So this is a UAir. What's the UAir? This hitbox UAir 1, say whatever you want to call it. What's the ID of it? And it will be like 1. And because lists start at 0 instead of 1, I do ID -1. So it's easier in the dictionary just to make everything as intuitive as possible, and then in the code I make it as machine intuitive or code intuitive as possible. So here negative, so this is -1, so it'll be ID is 1 -1. That's the first hitbox. And the way my ID system works is that it's going to look through the lists of nodes that's in the list of lists of nodes. And it's gonna go down. So in this case, there's only one list here. Yeah, and so we're gonna keep to some checks like if the list isn't 0, we're gonna look through every node in this list of nodes, and we're gonna make sure that the collider isn't like me, the attacker. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna check if we've already hit them. So if we've already hit them, this is the hit E list. If we already hit them, that means we don't keep the hit. We're not gonna hit them again on the same frame. Right? But if we don't see them in the hit list, then the hit E list. Hit list sounds bad. No. Then we're gonna keep the hit, and we're gonna add him to the hit E list. And remember, keep hit is false by default. So if the keep hit is true for all, like, we're still in the for loop, so for all like of the people who got hit, we're gonna send all this info. We don't need this anymore. We're gonna send this info to the calculation, so or their calculation. And there's no game object, there's no transform position, it's just global position. Number is 8. That's the list I use, but I'm gonna just use UAir. But I haven't made that dictionary yet. And they're gonna like redo this for each list of nodes in the colliding with, which is a list of lists. I probably explained that very badly, but the key is that if there was like multiple like a UAir 2, there's a different each hitbox has its own dictionary. Excuse me. Oh, actually, I can just show you the other one. Um, yeah, so back here. Back here has two hitboxes. Bear 1, Bear 2. Um, they have different IDs, even -1, and he put these colliders. So Bear 1, that hitbox gets this top collider, which is smaller. Bear 2 gets this much bigger. No, no, sorry. Yeah, Bear 1 gets a much bigger collider, as a radius of 80. Bear 2 gets a smaller collider, which has a radius of 10. So if both of them get hit, if they both have like something in here, something in their list of numbers, uh, on the same frame, then the game will look through this first. It's gonna look through zero, like ID 0 first, and if it goes through ID and it hits somebody, remember that it finds someone, and okay, so we didn't find him in the hit list, so then we keep hit, right? But we do add him to the hit list. So then it will go. So once it's done, it will do all this, and then it will send info and do the calculation, and then it will go back and look through uh, colliding with 2, the second one. Yeah, because Bear 2 will then at that point it will only look through Bear 2, and then it will go through all this. It will look through things like zeros, not 0. But once it gets to here, that one guy got hit by 2 different hitboxes, and he already is in the hit list because he was hit by this first hitbox, right? The list goes here first, so that means this first thing goes through. Hit E, like, is this guy in the list, and he is in the list. That means keep hit is false, which means this never happens, so nothing happens. So that's the way like the ID system works. At least that's how it should work, and it does how it does. Like I tested this at least in Unity, and this is how things go. Um, so in this attack, this is basically a common smash up air where you would have a multi-hitting attack, and then at the end you have a launcher. So from frames 6 to 15, you would do a multi-hitting attack, and then from frames 18 to 19, you would do the launcher. And the launcher has 2 hitboxes as well. So, to our function. Oh yeah, and right, the function is set. It's 70 pixels, but it was 10 pixels up. It has to be negative, so radius is 100, which I'm pretty sure is not how it should be, but should be fine. And there's no other bit. The layers are done differently. They're part of the function now. Let's just do that. It should be facing just to make it clear. So yeah, you see UR launched is its own dictionary that I have to make. Lighting with. A lot of these names is what I used in the that are now like red are what I used in Unity. That don't exist here anymore. Oh no, this is this. Right. Guy design for this. This get parent. Get parent has the actual name because they I don't know where the tag system is. Normally I'd be using the tags. I believe. Oh no, I'm just using the game object. Strings, right? No, it's game objects. So yeah, I just use the game objects, but the way these are put together, I just put everything into a parent node, and I keep referencing that parent node because it has a name. There's a player one, player two name. It's easier that way. I found. Okay, I'm gonna have to write. I don't know which ones. Check. 9 was you air launch, and then number 10. Like you see how unintuitive this is. The reason they're red is because I haven't actually made these dictionaries, which we are going to do now, because I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. I removed the. I didn't remove the idling, but there was something I wanted to change. I'm gonna put them all into one simple function, and also need to do this. If the air tags are on the ground, then they do return to idle. Oh no, I don't think I should do this. Because if the air tags are on the ground, that means you go through landing. Yeah, so that's why that wasn't happening. That's why it wasn't important last time. Normal up shouldn't be here. Normal down shouldn't be here. Yeah, so let's go and make a dictionary now. Let me get the actual numbers for this. Actually, I should put all of them here so I can do this all at once. It says URL launch. URL launch 2. All right. I have to initialize these at the beginning. Let's go to URL. Knockback is like nothing, so just don't do any damage. You can DI out of it pretty well. It's only one. Shield damage either. Okay. The knockback values are different because or I choose to use different knockback values because again, pixels per second. And I've chosen to like consolidate that difference just in the knockback. I didn't want to change anything else. I made a minor change to the calculation. I might shield knockback might have to change as well. I haven't like tested it though. A lot of this stuff like because this game is really early. I think these are exactly the same. Yeah, these are the same. Yeah. There's no difference between these. You just and this is a 2, right? Okay, now we're gonna do air normal down, which is spike. It's very tedious. I think I forgot something actually. So this is something I think I didn't do. I actually every time an attack starts, I wipe the colliding with like the list of lists I have right here. So to make sure, and some attacks have only like one hitbox, right? Some attacks have 3. So what I do is I make sure there's space, and I have a function add space, which you just add the number of hitboxes you need, and if it checks to see if they have any, and if they don't, it will add enough enough space. Very tedious, but I knew this was gonna happen, so It's all for the best, hopefully. Make sure that's 100 was negative. So the main issue is the problem is that like it's not really that big a deal. These numbers going up and down. It's very annoying and requires a lot of like testing, but that was gonna happen anyway. It's not like this game is completely done just because I tested it on with myself. I'm gonna have to change the numbers and knockback a lot. So dealing with like how big the pixel sizes are and how big the knockbacks are aren't nearly as much of a problem. The bigger problem is like the art and stuff. At least I think so far. So with D attack 3 again. Oh, I already did the D attack? Looks like there is one. Alright, that's good. D attack is all the same. So there's no like actual difference. Sure. So right. It's a special up which is millions of times more complicated. Required so much math to do this. I think I already got this though. Yeah, that's fine. And this might be a problem. Be down. There's collide for there's 3 of these. Yeah, these need to be minus minus. Zero. Super up ish. Yep, should be minus. These are all the same, they're just different like numbers. Make sure add spaces everywhere, because otherwise I didn't add space here. This has 2. Air normal forward. Why is this 10 up? Probably shouldn't be. Let's see. That's 0 0, thank God. Add space. Air normal neutral should not do that. Air attack should not be set to idle. They should go into landing. Normal down does it, yeah, that does happen. Add space. Yeah, let's see, fix that. They're not exactly analogous. It's a problem. Oh, but I think I already did this. Yeah. I have KB check, which is like the middle of that. Let me see if I can. It's my face. That's what KB check is. It moves into position when I need it, when I need to check something. 0, 0, add space. Yeah, I think that's all the attacks. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, it's fine. Something to watch or listen to. All right, so Godot doesn't have like this really convenient game screen. You have to build it, at least as far as I could find. Um, OBS doesn't like it, so I'm gonna have to. Well, I don't think you'll be able to see this yet. So let me window capture. Okay. Oh no. Oh no, wait. No, I need that back. Yeah, okay. So it's not a very good window capture, but oh no. I full screened it. It's not nearly as good as Unity's. It's like a really bad thing I hate about Godot. So The camera logic isn't working the same. So everything moves right. God, I gotta. 1 second. Ah. All right. Batteries dying. Oh, anyway, a couple things it doesn't have, which is let me see. Okay, so it doesn't have gizmos as far as I can find. So you can see like, I'm not sure you can actually see that. So if I jab, it'll hit them, and you can see it's not nearly as like strong yet as it was. That like it really beefed up. So that'll hit them, but you can't see the hitboxes in Unity. You'd be able to see the hitboxes right now. The animations are a little slower for some reason. Um, yeah. So, but like I got all the movement working. So here's ground dashing, ground dash hop. Some issue with the inputs. Air dash, triple jump. Fast fall a little easier in this one. And if I hit you, you can wait properly. I can air dash into you. Also, when I'm on the ground, that's an issue. Bug. Yep. Yeah, there's a bug there. I didn't make the animations here, so does this work? It does work. That work? Oh wow. That's no range. Okay, so I have to change the range on that. Is the up there. Or up the up smash, I guess. That's not working. Okay, so that works. I see there's a controller issue. Oops, then. Let me see if I can get to the bottom of that. See what the debug errors are. There's a lot of them. That is weird. Why is that happening? It's the same one. This is it. This is the problem. Object reference not set to an instance of object. What that is. What I don't know, more importantly, is why is down. Actually, what I should do, I should check. See if this actually works here. What have to check here? I have to. Right. I'm gonna actually have to go look into this. Input manager. Since we see the actual inputs. That might be the issue. Yeah. Issues. All right, back into the code. All the way down to the right here. So here. The big, yeah, okay. Yeah. So for whatever reason, the way I do the buffering in Unity, the buffering, you would look for basically control stick up. Like if when you press A or the attack button, the game would look for basically two inputs before and two inputs after, and it would look for certain things like control stick up. That's what start move up is, or if you're holding up, that's what move up is. But move up and start move up, they're also used by the movement function. And every time something is actually used by one of these functions, it will change from like start move U to start move U used. It's a little weird. Let me type it out. It will look like this. And it has to look for this string. It has to be this exact string to avoid confusion. So in my case, what I do is I look for when it gets to the attack function, I have to make sure to look for both of these because it's probably going to be used by the movement function as well. And I still want that. I still want the input from the movement function because that's how people that still counts as like people using the attack. So or that's what people want to do. Like it's Starfall used. So this doesn't compute here. Oh, yeah, see. Starfall used, but this is move D and move D as well. So this is move D. So that's why I think in the air it never did air normal down. It just kept doing forward because it was looking for like a perfect. All right, let's see if you work. Okay. Okay. No, we shouldn't get an animation. Yeah, we didn't get the animation. Yeah, there we go. I'm also landing with a lot more landing lag, so that means the attack is happening. This input system is like a million times more sensitive. Somehow. Like anything, and the stick is a little broken because I broke. So a lot of the problems, like sometimes it will just move backwards inexplicably. Actually, it's doing it right now, or move to the right inexplicably because the control stick is slightly turned to the right. Yeah, right there. I was going left. I have to fix that too. Uh oh no, it came back. That really shouldn't happen anymore. I have to figure out how the animations work here. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine too. Mm. Why is that happening? I don't understand. Let me check something here. Here. I guess here that's you. Yeah. Okay. Now we're empty. Now we're not getting a debug message. It's only after I hit somebody. Still not happening. That's annoying. Still 128. Yeah, it's no real difference here. Gotta figure that out when it comes back up. Okay. A lot of porting. What do I have left to do? So, on my so that's all this stuff I learned on like UI and Godot as well. Oh, oh. To figure out platforms, even all the logic is there, but let's see if it works, you know? Ledges I still have to do properly, put those together. Ledges are part of the stage, so is the kill planes on the side. So I could show. So, oh, oh. Okay. I think that's enough 14 for one day. Should probably write down what I need to do for this. I'm gonna be back with some art. Actually, I might have to leave. If I come back, I'll have some art. Let me the transition thing.